Welcome. YWCA Tulsa is really excited to host the Stand Against Racism campaign again this year. Stand Against Racism is a long-standing signature annual event of YWCA's across the country. YWCA here in Tulsa has participated several years, but then we took a couple of years off, so we're restarting this year, and it's really exciting to us. My name is Mana Tahai. I am the Director of Mission Impact here at YWCA Tulsa, and I manage, among other things, our racial justice programs. I have to apologize. I'm having some allergy issues this week, so I sound a little froggy. If at any point you can't understand me, please feel free to say so or chat in the window so that I can repeat myself or slow down or speak up or whatever it is you need. Just so that you have a visual, this is me, and there's my contact information, both email and my direct line. If you have questions in the future, either as a result of this webinar or for any other purposes, please don't hesitate to reach out and get in touch. So our agenda for today's webinar is to give you an overview of what the Stand Against Racism campaign is, talk about how each organization can become a participating site and what that entails, and what hosting a stand really means, how to get started, and what kinds of materials and things we will provide to you to help plan your events. And then we'll talk a little about sponsorship opportunities as well as the stand that we at YWCA Tulsa are hosting ourselves called Hear Our Voices. And then hopefully we'll have plenty of time at the end for Q&A. So to get us started, let's just talk a little about the Stand Against Racism itself as a campaign. To give you a little bit of a background on the purpose and history, as I shared, this is the annual signature YWCA Tulsa campaign with the goal of promoting racial justice at the community level. There are approximately 230 YWCAs across the country in 47 states, and each of us do our work differently, have different programming, and are really unique to the needs of our communities. So Stand Against Racism was created to provide kind of a cohesive annual event where all of us can come together at the same time and promote the same message of racial justice within our communities. So Stand Against Racism itself is what we affectionately call a program in a box, and it's an opportunity for groups of any size. So those groups may include businesses and corporations, schools or universities, nonprofits, and other social service organizations, houses of worship and faith communities, and virtually really any other community organization that is interested in hosting some kind of event for its constituents, whether that's clients or students or employees or members or neighbors, whatever that might look like. The benefits of the Stand Against Racism are that it's really an opportunity to empower organizations regardless of what level their understanding or experience around racial justice is. So it's a really good opportunity to even begin the conversation on race. And if you are at an organization that may have started having this dialogue, maybe you have a diversity and inclusion initiative, maybe you have already integrated this into your values, STAND can really scale and advance your existing goals around racial justice. So not only is it scalable, but it's customizable, and it's really designed to be a template that you can modify to suit the needs of your organization and make it fit exactly what it is that will work best for your group and your constituency. Joining the Stand Against Racism and participating as a site signals your group's commitment to diversity and inclusion and racial equity in our community. So it's also a really great opportunity to sort of show and demonstrate your values around racial justice. And it's a really accessible opportunity to engage your constituents in a meaningful dialogue. This isn't a commitment that you're making that has to be, a multi-year or a sustained effort. It doesn't require a huge budgetary commitment, nor does it need a lot of time. It could, of course, eventually grow into that if there's enough energy and interest that results from the event. But to start with, it's not designed to be something that you're committing a lot to. And finally, what's really exciting about it is that our participating sites who host a stand join a partnership with hundreds of thousands of other people all across the country who are taking action at the same time all across the United States. So it's really a groundswell of people who are talking about and addressing similar things at the same time. So just to give you a little snapshot of the sort of hard numbers around Stand Against Racism, the campaign dates for this year are Thursday, April 28th through Sunday, May 1st. So this will be the last week of April, and it goes into that weekend. And the reason that it spans 4 days is to allow, again, organizations who are on different cycles to do things based on their own timeline. So, for example, a school would obviously want to probably do their event on a weekday, whereas a community of faith, it might make more sense to do something on a weekend. So that's why we have multiple days in which people can participate. In 2015, we saw about 750 participating sites all across the country. And of the 47 states where YWCAs are located, 44 of them actually participated. So we had some really great numbers. In 2016, the goal is to have over 1,000 registered participating sites with a stand taking place in each of the 47 states in which there is a YWCA. This year, the theme for Stand Against Racism is On a Mission for Girls of Color. YWCA's mission, all across the country, we share a common mission, and that is to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. So right at the intersection of our mission for racial justice and women's empowerment is women of color, and this year we're focusing on girls in particular. So this is a theme that may inform your stand, or it may not. It totally depends on what is most appropriate for your constituency. But what it will do is, on a national level at our headquarters in Washington, D.C., it will inform the advocacy efforts that YWCA USA will be participating in, specifically on Thursday, April 28th, which is our National Day of Action. So again, this is a theme that you may want to integrate into your stand, but you certainly don't have to. It is optional. So, having sort of painted a picture broadly of what Stand Against Racism is, let's talk about what becoming a participating site actually means. So as far as who is eligible to host a stand, as I tried to share earlier, it's really any group of any size that has some kind of membership or constituency. So businesses, schools, K through higher ed, communities of faith and houses of worship, nonprofits, of course, civic entities and elected officials, so municipalities, counties, tribes, you name it, policy organizations. We've even had families participate in the past, and really any other community organizations, including, for example, neighborhood associations. Oh, we have a little quirk there. And schools include things like after-school programs, so the Scouts and Campfire and other after-school activities like that, Little League, leadership development programming, those kinds of things. Really, any group of any size that has some sort of membership. So, what types of events count, or what types of events have participated in the Stand Against Racism? Well, it's really broad, but I wanted to show a few distinctions. Stands can be public or private. So a public stand would be something that we promote, you and YWCA promote to the community at large, and you're inviting members of the public to come and participate in this event. So as an example, in the past, the Rudisill Regional Library and the North Tulsa Historical Society have hosted lunch hour documentary screenings and discussions. And that's something that has been open to the public. They encourage people to come. And it's designed to be at a time and location that is easily accessible for folks. Conversely, a private stand is one in which the details aren't really shared with the public other than the fact that that organization is participating, And the event itself is only open to a selected group, usually the constituents within the participating site. So for example, a school may decide to do a school assembly of some kind, and that is just available to the students at that school. Or an employer may host a lunch and learn for the staff of their organization, and that would just be open to their staff. So both of these are perfectly legitimate. It just depends on what your goals are. And when you sign up, you will just indicate which one of these you would like your stand to be, and that will modify what your stand listing looks like on the website. I'll show you an example of that in just a few minutes. Stands can last as short as 15 minutes or go as long as a day, or in fact multiple days. So the template that I'll share with you and that you will download from the site once you sign up has the elements of what goes into a stand, and those can be something very, very quick that you just do at the beginning of the day or over a lunch hour, and kind of a quick activity, or it can be something that lasts a full day or multiple days. So for example, if you decide to do a virtual campaign, something where, for example, you might blog for several days or do something on your social media website, or have a station at your building that people can come and participate in, then it can last multiple days. So again, it's really designed to be scalable and customizable. And as I've sort of alluded to already, the events can be in person, but they can also be virtual. If your constituency is diffuse, or if it's something where you have a large online membership, for example, and it makes more sense for you to do something virtual, then that works as well. And finally, what are the components that make up an effective stand against racism or an effective stand? Well, of course, we'll open up with a welcome, and many organizations choose to have some sort of handout or something like that they share with their constituents. So that could be something like our bookmarks, there are stickers, there are wristbands. That sort of gives a sense of commonality to the event. And then some element of discussion, and that really means this is an opportunity to spark some kind of conversation. It could be showing a short video clip. It could be inviting a speaker. It could be having someone facilitate a roundtable discussion, for example, or having some World Cafe style discussion or what have you. So lots of different ways to engage in conversation, but we really believe that this event should be some kind of participatory, it should have a participatory element. So that flows well into the third component, which is participation. So again, this can be linked to the discussion. It could also be something like some of our stands use the pledge to stand against racism, which will be in your materials, to create a banner, and they have everyone who participates sign that banner, which then they display prominently at their location. Or this year, STAND has offered a variety of selfie signs, so folks may decide to fill out the selfie signs with why they are standing against racism and take photos with those. There's also an online form that will allow you to write a letter to all of your elected officials. So that encourages them to stand with us. And so that might be something that you incorporate. In any case, we really want these events to be participatory in some way. And then the action, which of course is also part of the on-site participation, but in order for the stand to really be meaningful, we like to have folks take something out of the room or away from the experience to apply later on. So we encourage our participating sites to have something that they allow folks to do later or to carry forward, to take the energy of the stand and apply it in the future. So that may be some kind of commitment letter, that may be some conversation that they're going to have with neighbors or family members or friends. It may be something they decide to post online, so on and so forth. But the goal there is just to allow folks to carry forward the spirit of the stand into the rest of their life, essentially. So what are the materials that are provided to you? Well, they fall into a couple of categories. So to start with, there are some materials that you can download from the stand website and print yourself. So as I shared, there are selfie signs. There's also posters, especially if you're having a public event, but even if you're having a private event, the poster allows you to fill out the time and date and location to encourage people to come. So that's something you can put up on a bulletin board, in a staff break room, something that you can fill out and even turn into a PDF and email to people as a flyer. But it's designed to be for you to help you promote your event. The bookmark and stickers are things that, again, you can download. The stickers match a specific type of Avery template, and so you can purchase those and print them yourself, or of course you can have both of these professionally printed if you like. The bookmark has a short version of the Pledge to Stand Against Racism in it as well. For purchase, there are T-shirts, buttons, and wristbands that are available through a national provider, and the T-shirts come in both adult and youth sizes. And the buttons are high-quality buttons, and I have some from past years that people love to pick up from my office and wear really proudly. And the wristbands are those plastic sort of commemorative wristbands, and they are also available, good handout or freebie to give out. And then finally, in addition to the sort of the participant materials, we also have some resources available. So there are some youth activities for organizations that work with young people, either in a school or an extracurricular or youth group environment. And then, of course, as I shared, there is the pledge, which folks can print and have everyone sign, and really compels people to think about what it actually means to stand against racism and how they can put that in action. So, assuming you've heard everything and you're very excited, how would you get started? Well, to begin with, take an opportunity to brainstorm your event. If you go to our website at YWCATulsa.org, we have a web page on our website of ideas and inspiration. So I will show you what that looks like. I believe. Does that work? There we go. So on our website, here is a list of ideas and inspiration. So this is a sample schedule and the kinds of things that you can do during the discussion and participation portions. And then things that you can sort of add on in order to make your event more substantive if you have the opportunity. So we have suggestions for shorter and longer events. We also have suggestions for virtual stands, and then specifically for educators, communities of faith, workplaces, civil service organizations, and for campus groups, some particular ideas here. These really are just designed to be inspiration, so take what you like from here, leave the rest. But we just wanted to give you some examples of what this might look like in practice so that when you go to sign up, you have a better sense for what you're committing to. Once you've had a chance to brainstorm your event, we encourage you to go ahead and register as a participating site. So at this point, you would visit standagainstracism.org and you would register. So the website is really straightforward. And here where it says registration is now open, you would just click here and actually register to become a site. So here it asks for some basic information, your relationship with the YWCA. So in this case, you would say you are affiliated with a local YWCA, and here you would type in YWCA Tulsa. Let them know how you heard about it. And then down here is where you start entering your event type information. So as I shared, if you put private event, then that means that your event will not be on the map that is available to the public. You would indicate your location, the time and date, and some description for your information here, and then you would create a login so that you can come back and edit this later if you need to, or this is also what you would use to access your resources and materials. So once you have registered, then you go ahead and download your resources using those same login credentials. So then the back end is what we call your toolkit, and this is where you would actually download all of the materials that I mentioned. So this is what you will see. We have documents to help you plan your stand. We've got communications documents like a press release and a social media kit, logos and things to use on your collateral, the poster that I mentioned that you can use to promote your event, as well as the stickers and selfie signs and share graphic. And then down here we also just have some background information, the history, overview, and glossary around racial justice and YWCA's work and our theory of change. And then down here we have some worksheets to allow you to do some interactive activities with young people. And specifically, we have a resource sheet on the impact of racism on girls of color. And there's research and data available there. If you decide to use that theme and incorporate that in your work, these are some resources to help get you started. And as I mentioned, you can order some materials through the national provider. And so here you see there are two types of buttons, the silicone wristband and the youth and adult t-shirts available. And these are pretty reasonably priced, $8.50 for the shirts, $12.50 for 25 packs of the buttons, and $1 per wristband. Once you have registered your site and got in and downloaded the materials and finalized all of your plans, you'll probably want to go back to standagainstracism.org and update your event listing. Usually folks first sign up and they have a sense of what they want to do, but they need to get their hands on those resources first before they can really finalize all of their plans. So it's helpful to revisit this and make sure that all of the event details are up to date, especially if you have a public event, because we want to make sure that folks are coming to the right place and location and they know what to expect there. So what will happen is we will have listings on this map. So again, on the national website, there is a map that is available for the public, and if you click on each state, it will show you all of the stands that are available, and you can even use the drop-down and look at just what is going on in this community. So, for example, we already have a few folks that have signed up for Tulsa. If you decide to have a public stand, it'll be a much more thorough listing. If you have a private stand, all that folks will see is that your organization is hosting one and the city that it's in and the fact that it's a private event. So this is helpful just to get you some visibility, but to prevent people from showing up to your private event. So important dates to remember. We're doing another in-person Kickstart, very much like this webinar, next week. That'll be Wednesday, March 30th at 5:30 here at the YWCA Patty Johnson Wilson Center, which is at 19th and Lewis. And this is just one more opportunity for folks to learn about the stand, to understand what the commitment is, to ask questions, to brainstorm ideas, and so on. This webinar will also be available on demand later on. So if you have colleagues or friends, folks at other organizations who you think would be interested, they can either attend our Kickstart or they can watch this webinar once it's over and recorded and added to our website. To send people to the Kickstart for next week, just have them visit our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/YWCA Tulsa. If you decide to order anything off of that online store, then the deadline to order is April 11th to guarantee that you'll receive all of your materials by April 28th. The campaign itself is April 28th to May 1st. And again, your stand event can happen anytime in that window, and it's really designed to be whenever it is that you need. April 28th, on that first day, is actually when YWCA is hosting our own Stand Against Racism. This will be an evening performance called Hear Our Voices. We are having performing artists speak on the theme of Stand Against Racism. So we'll have poets, storytellers, musicians, and other types of performances. This will take place at Living Arts at 6:30 on April 28th. Again, for information on that, just visit our Facebook page, YWCA Tulsa, facebook.com/YWCA Tulsa. And also on April 28th is our National Day of Commitment to Eliminate Racism. So that will be the National Day of Action where our headquarters in Washington, D.C. will focus on the public policy element of standing against racism, which will include an issue briefing on Capitol Hill on the issues facing girls of color. Speaking of the public policy element, one of the optional parts of Stand Against Racism is this national pledge that sends an email to policymakers at the federal, state, and local level. So folks can visit this pledge, which is linked to from the Stand Against Racism website, and it auto-populates with the actual pledge against racism, and then you can enter additional information, and this will automatically go to all of the elected officials associated with your home address. So your state legislator, your city councilor, all the way up to the president and vice president. And this is something that they are encouraging folks to do during the week of the Stand Against Racism. And finally, there are sponsorship opportunities available for sponsors, whether they're companies or foundations or individuals who would like to help us underwrite the costs and gain some visibility around Stand Against Racism. So to start with, we have 2 sponsorship levels. Our presenting sponsorship is $5,000 and our community sponsorship is $1,000. The sponsorships come with a host of benefits. This is a document you can download if you go to our website, ywcatulsa.org. Down here at the bottom it says Stand Against Racism, and you can click on this link and download the PDF that lists all the details and how to sign up. For now, I will just say that the benefits include media coverage. Our sponsors will be featured prominently in any coverage that we get, as well as a profile on our social media platforms, recognition from the stage at our Stand Against Racism event on the 28th at Living Arts, signage opportunities, and it's also a great way for employee engagement and volunteerism, as is hosting Stand for Your Own group. So the event that we are hosting at Living Arts, as I shared, is a creative evening that will take place at Living Arts at 6:30 on the 28th. If you or other people that you know are performing artists who may be interested in participating, you can visit our website again, and right here is our call for artists, including our submission criteria and the place they would submit a piece for consideration. This event will be free and open to the public, and if you visit our Facebook page, then you can see the details and where to RSVP. All right. That is the bulk of my presentation portion. Now I want to make room both for questions, and also this can be an opportunity to brainstorm on possible events that you would like to host or that you're considering for any group that you are part of. So I'm going to try and unmute everybody.
And they can unmute themselves. All participants are unmuted.
All right, I've unmuted everyone. It sounds like we have an echo. Okay, I think whoever that was, maybe it was me. So, folks, any questions that you have about anything I've talked about, or if you would like to brainstorm any of the ideas that you're planning for your group, or ask any questions about resources that we might have available at YWCA to help you plan your event, now is your chance. There's also a chat window. Feel free to use that if you are logged into the free conference, the webinar interface. Just click on the chat button and you can enter your question there as well. Okay, well, I think I must have been very thorough. So what I will do is I'm going to follow up on this webinar with information about everything I've sent you and a link to this recording. In the meantime, if you would like to get a hold of me, again, here is my email address and my phone number. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or, again, just want to brainstorm. And we really look forward to seeing all of you participating in the Stand Against Racism this year. We're really hoping to have a really great turnout. Our highest number ever was 40 participating sites. Because we haven't done it in a couple years, we're shooting for 25 this year, but I feel really confident we're going to hit our mark. And I'm really excited to see what kinds of creative events all of you plan. So if there are no further questions, I'll go ahead and close out the webinar. Thank you all for spending your lunch hour with us, and do be in touch if you have any questions. Take care, everybody.